Well, looks like Pokimane's found herself wrapped up in even more drama since the last time we talked about her. But before we dive into the latest mess, let me hit you with a quick recap of the last situation, just in case you missed my previous video. On February 9th, 2025, Kendrick Lamar headlined the Super Bowl 59 halftime show at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. He was joined by special guest SZA, and together they delivered a performance that had everyone talking. While many praised the show, there was a fair share of criticism as well. Pokimane, during her February 10th Twitch stream, didn't hold back in defending Kendrick's performance. She addressed the critics head-on, stating,
with probably zero musical capabilities, think that Kendrick Lamar didn't deserve the halftime show. What?
Now, so far, that's not too controversial, right? She's just defending Kendrick. But then she went on to say,
only white people hated it. I didn't want to say it. As a white passing person, I didn't want to say that. But you saying that and me repeating that message, I'm just going to let that sit.
And boom, that's where things blew up. People immediately started accusing Pokimane of making a racist generalization by suggesting that only white people disliked the performance. Some viewers felt like she was being divisive by turning criticism of a musical performance into a racial issue. Others argued that she was just pointing out an uncomfortable truth, that black artists, especially those with political messages, tend to get more pushback from certain groups. Either way, this one comment set the internet on fire, with fans, critics, and streamers all jumping into the debate. Now, after this whole controversy happened, Pokimane ended up in another involving her opinion on the live streaming community as of recently. Now, let's talk about something that's been an ongoing conversation in the content creation world. Pokimane's claim that live streaming has become increasingly male-dominated. In a recent interview on the Colin and Samir podcast, she touched on the state of streaming and how it has changed over the years. She pointed out that the biggest names in the space right now, people like cenat and ishowspeed, are driving the direction of the industry, and unfortunately, there aren't as many female streamers reaching their level of mainstream success. She specifically said,
there is some perspective, a little bit unrelated, but a little bit related. As much as I think Kai and Speed are incredible, and what they do is incredible. Also, when I think of them, I think of how much the audience has changed over the years as well. They're both two like young dudes who do kind of like crazy, wild things. And just from a data and analytics perspective, I find it really interesting to see who are the top streamers, their similarities, their differences, especially in terms of audiences. And unfortunately, there aren't that many like huge female streamers, at least not on their level, which I think reflects like nowadays the audience has in a way gone more to being a lot of like younger dudes, which is amazing. But I remember during the pandemic, I felt a much larger female presence, both in the audience and in regards to the streamers that we were seeing growing and becoming more popular. So that's just an interesting thing that I've noticed as a creator and both a consumer of the Twitch streaming landscape.
Now, if you've been watching Twitch and YouTube over the past couple of years, you've probably noticed this trend too. A few years ago, Pokimane was undoubtedly one of the top streamers, alongside names like Valkyrie and Amaranth. But now, the landscape is shifting, and more high-energy, over-the-top male streamers are dominating the space. So what's causing this change? One big factor is audience demographics. Twitch and YouTube streaming audience has become much younger and more male-dominated. That's why personalities like cenat and ishowspeed, who cater to this high-energy, meme-heavy, chaotic style of content, are exploding in popularity. They engage in crazy antics, collaborate with rappers, and make their streams feel like live events rather than just gameplay or casual chatting. And that brings up an interesting point. Live streaming today is vastly different from what it was 5 to 10 years ago. Back when Pokimane was at her peak, a lot of top streamers were playing games like Fortnite, League of Legends, and Among Us. The streaming experience was more about interacting with chat and showcasing gameplay. But today, content is shifting towards wild, unpredictable moments, live pranks, and insane collaborations. That's where male streamers seem to have the edge right now. Their content leans heavily into this new meta of live streaming, which is grabbing millions of views. Now, Does that mean female streamers are being pushed out? Not necessarily. But it does highlight the lack of variety in top-tier streamers today. It's not that female streamers aren't working hard. It's that the type of content getting pushed to the mainstream favors a certain kind of personality. And right now, that's chaotic, high-energy male streamers. Some people argue that platform algorithms also play a role in shaping who gets the most exposure. YouTube and Twitch tend to promote content that keeps viewers engaged for long periods, and streams that are unpredictable and hype-driven tend to perform better in that sense. This raises an important question. How can female streamers compete in this environment? One possible solution is diversifying content styles. Right now, the industry favors over-the-top personalities, but there's always room for different types of creators. Female streamers could lean into different niches, such as in-depth discussions, creative content, or more structured live shows. But at the end of the day, it's an uphill battle. If the biggest audience on Twitch and YouTube prefers chaotic, high-energy content, it's tough to break through with anything else. So, what do you guys think? Do you agree with Pokimane's take? Is streaming becoming too male-dominated, or is this just the natural evolution of the industry? Drop your thoughts in the comments.